Welcome to this Community Spotlight podcast. My guest today is Christy Eckert. She is with the Marion Crawford Prevention Programs. Welcome back.
Well, thank you, Dave.
All right. I know my compatriot Randy Bigley has interviewed you, and we kind of both have done that. Yep. A lot going on, huh?
We always have something going on. Always. No question. Yeah.
Now, didn't you, I believe before we went on there, you said you went to a conference, or you just came back from a conference?
Yeah, we took a variety of community members from Marion and Crawford counties, as well as for youth, to a conference in Washington, D.C., and it's a national coalition conference. They have workshops and stuff for the adults and for the youth, but then we also got to go to Capitol Hill and advocate for prevention services around youth and substance use disorders, treatment, all of those things. So it was a really amazing experience. We learned a lot, brought a lot back, and a great opportunity for our community members and youth to advocate.
Well, now you're bringing up something as well that I just happened to think of. You know, this may be somebody's first time watching either this on YouTube or listening to it on SoundCloud or whatever. Exactly, again, I won't say what do you do, but yeah, it's in essence what people want to know. Well, I'm not real sure what Christy Eckert does.
Sure.
Explain what we're talking about when we say the Marion Crawford Prevention Program.
Sure. We're a state-certified prevention agency that works specifically to prevent youth substance use. My coworkers work in the schools in Marion and Crawford counties with youth, encouraging peer-led prevention. So peers encouraging their peers to be healthy and drug-free. Then we have a support group, which is the Drug Free Marion Coalition, as well as the Crawford Prevention Coalition, which we're adults in the community that are trying to reinforce what's being taught to our kids. So teaching parents and community how they can be a part of that prevention piece and how they can reinforce what the kids are teaching each other on that level, and how we can make our community safe and healthy for everybody.
Well, that's a good summation of that. And when we say prevention, we're not only talking about when people, normally I think most people would say drugs, we're thinking about alcohol and other things as well, correct?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, we touch on suicide prevention, we touch on alcohol, and then any sort of drug prevention. So, yep, it's the whole gamut, sometimes even into like healthy relationships. So just healthy choices for people, and with the peers and the youth, it gives them an opportunity to be leaders in their communities and their schools and in the local communities. So it's developing strong leaders and preventing use to keep them healthy and so they grow up to be strong, healthy adults.
Risk groups. Who's at high risk?
I hate to pinpoint certain groups, but kids that are not connected. That's the biggest thing we're seeing when we look at data across the board. Don't get me wrong, we see kids who are involved in different organizations still using sometimes, but those kids that don't have connection, those kids that don't have maybe strong connection at home, maybe aren't involved in different programs, we see that the more kids are involved, generally the less they tend to use because they're busy, and generally, if you're an athlete, there's that focus on health and staying healthy and fueling your body properly. We do try to educate and work with coaches in the counties around that as well, explaining how to recognize signs of use, but also how to encourage your team to be healthy. So usually, for the most part, I would say it's kids that aren't connected that we see.
I like to use the term people that are floating.
Okay, yeah,
and
that
could be. The reason I say that is because they're here and they're there, but it's kind of like nobody sometimes even sees some of these young people.
Yeah.
You follow what I mean?
Yes, I definitely see what you're saying.
And I think sometimes in the perspective of a young person, they think this is a big world, and it is a big world, and there's all these things out here, and it's kind of like, well, where am I? Does anybody really care? I mean, I'm just an insignificant being on this planet.
Right. Where do I fit? Where do I find my people?
That's a very good point, because I think that's key with a lot of people. is they don't see themselves fitting in anywhere.
Yeah, we do see that a lot, and so we talk a lot about adults making connections with youth. In Marion County right now, we have a campaign going on for a trusted adult campaign. Specifically in Marion, with our coalition, we found that the number of kids that feel connected to their schools or to an adult in their community is very low. And so trying to identify those people that are those adults that connect with youth is important. So we did this last year and recognized them in May. We had 5 individuals, mostly associated with school. One was a family, a mom and dad that kind of just drive all the kids around, and they're good, trusted people. But we're really focusing on that in the Marion County, just to encourage people to be those trusted adults, but then also for kids to recognize who those people are. So maybe other kids might see that. And we know that every person relates differently to different people. So, one person's trusted adult might not be another person's trusted adult.
Yeah. A lot of that, too, has to do with people's experiences.
Exactly. Yeah. Experiences, hobbies, just so many different facets that go into that. So.
Now, what you're saying also kind of begs the question here that I'm going to, I won't say question, but just that I think of. Sounds to me like you can use some volunteers.
Oh, we always can use people to work with us. We have a lot of great ideas, especially after coming back from that national conference. Everybody wrote down some, lists of things they'd love to see us try to implement. And a lot of times those projects take people. We need somebody who's great at creating a Google Doc, but we also need somebody who's willing to just volunteer and be present. And so we need a variety of different people to join us in both Crawford and Marion County. Okay.
The need is great, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, there's a spot for somebody out there if they want to be involved.
Yep. We always have a room for people.
Well, this is something that is very, very important because we don't want to see our youth. That is the future. And if we are not providing that future for them, it's going to create more and more problems down the road.
Exactly.
So it's the old saying, you can pay me now or pay me later.
Yep.
I mean, there's things we talk about society in general, it's, these things over time, they just wear on things and wear on it. And there's somewhere, the person that's needed is you, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, you just, that other term I always use, I'm like, it takes a village, even those kids that have really strong parental figures and really good connectedness with, adults, maybe coaches or advisors or faith leaders, you still need other people. And so I think to remember that it's all our jobs to assist in building up our youth and creating strong leaders for the future.
All right. Christy, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah, we have.
In a very short period of time.
Yep.
We didn't have a lot of events this month to talk about, but it's just important that we recognize that our youth need help. We can become volunteers and help, and that you're moving in a direction to try to be helped.
Yes.
And the help is available out there. How would folks get a hold of you?
You can call us at our office. Our phone line office is in Marion County. It's 740-914-6444.
You do anything on social media or not? Probably.
We do have Facebook pages for both Drug Free Marion. It's Drug Free Marion Community Coalition, and then Crawford County Prevention Coalition. So both of those are Facebook pages. You could also reach us.
Well, I think I've covered it all.
Sounds good.
Every once in a while I stumble in and actually do this job correct.
I think you do fine, Dave.
Well, I thank you, Christy Eckert from the Marion Crawford Prevention Programs, for coming in and helping and being a part of the podcast.
Thank you.